Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final score with
Eric, how about them Cowboys saw ya?
And I'm the new elected mayor for Johns Nation, Matthew Basemore.
And Stevie Reno Fly. What's up, guys? Final score. Little impromptu episode this morning. I decided about an hour ago. I hadn't came on live in a while. I've had some stuff going on, and I know you guys get tired of hearing about that. But I've felt like coming on this morning. It's opening weekend at NFL. College football is out there. I mean, this is what officially week 2, if you don't count week 0. So evidently it's been 3 weeks of college football. But hope you guys are doing all right. I'm representing my team this morning. We're having a rough season, but we're young and we're getting closer every week. And I'm proud of my guys, proud of the effort they put out. We'll get there. We'll get there one week, hopefully next week. But like I said, the opening week of the NFL, we have 2 games happened already, and a big story coming out of one of those games already. Of course, Thursday nights, you have the defending Super Bowl champions usually take the field and have their ring ceremonies. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they open up with the Baltimore Ravens, and you guys know, you can see in the background here, Steeler fan. So I'm not any way, shape, or form a Baltimore Ravens fan. And anybody that plays against the Ravens is my number one team at that moment. So Thursday night, they opened up. They had a weather delay to start the game, and they come out firing. Baltimore scores first, goes down the field, scores. But Kansas City comes back, and man, this is Xavier Worthy, the rookie out of Texas. How fast is that dude? You give Patrick Mahomes another weapon. Excuse me. Give Patrick Mahomes another weapon on that offense. And Hollywood wasn't even playing, so it's just adding to that offense. Can they three-peat? I don't know. I don't know. Three-peat is a hard thing to do in the NFL. Nobody's ever done it. You've got a big target on your back every week, even when you're just trying to repeat. So I don't know. And look, the Ravens, and being totally unbiased here as I can, people were talking after Derrick Henry comes over. Oh, yeah, it's going to be unstoppable. If him and Lamar is going to be unstoppable. I didn't buy into that. And I'm not saying it just because it's the Ravens. The same thing happens every year, guys. Same thing happens every year. And the same thing happened in this game Thursday night. Down by 7, time running out. Two passes he missed. One was wide open in the back of the end zone, would have tied the game up, and you wouldn't have to worry about whether Mr. Lively's toe was in or not. Which, guys, any game that was played as that would have been ruled not a catch. I mean, likely not a catch. I don't care what they say. That would not have been ruled a catch. His feet were, the toes, yeah, it was close. It was within inches. But the toes were out of bounds. Not a touchdown. I'm not saying it because it's the Ravens. It didn't bother me. But, that's not a touchdown. And the Chiefs win the game 27-20. Lamar rushes for over 100, passes for 270, but crunch time, guys. He's got, and if this guy becomes clutch in big games. Yeah, but you keep waiting for it to happen. You keep waiting for in the pressure situations for this guy to come through. And answer me this: in a pressure situation, in a big game against a big time opponent, when has he came through? I mean, granted, this is the first game of the season, so I mean, not really going to mean anything in the long scheme of things. But that was a pressure situation, and he missed a wide open guy. Offense, 450 yards of offense. So the offense is there. Defense, well, you're going against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Looking at the yard, I mean, they held him under 100 rushing yards. They outgained the Chiefs by over 100 yards, but just came up short in the end. Likely after the game, and I mean, I know you're going to say things and stuff like this, but don't, even this early in the season, don't give a team like the Chiefs bulletin board material in case you play them in the playoffs. And it's a good chance they may meet up in the playoffs. Don't give them bulletin board material. And you say after the game, if this was your best, and we played our worst, and I'm not really worried about you, something like that. That was the exact quote, but pretty much what he was getting at. But Ravens are 0-1, Chiefs go to 1-0. Thursday night game was a good game. I did not make it through that first game. I watched the highlights, and there was no way I could stay up. I'm getting old, guys. I'm lucky last night I was up past 10 o'clock. That was something for me. Then you had a first ever Friday night game in the regular season from Brazil. And first of all, what is the NFL? I mean, it's nice and everything that you want to go and play, out of the country and overseas, all this stuff. But how about do a little recon before you go down there? I don't know how much gets done on that, but I don't know, and I don't know who the field crews are that get assigned to these places where they go that usually aren't hosting NFL games. But a lot of complaints from both teams about field conditions, and I don't think it came into play at the end with the injury we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But both teams complaining about the field in Brazil. I mean, NFL, you gotta expand. You want to go worldwide and do all this. Excuse me, but you gotta do some work. Make sure these fields are safe for the players to play. You're always talking about player safety and all this. So how about checking the safety of the field before you go down here to play on a field that's never been played in the NFL before. So the Eagles and the Packers, get on that hot streak at the end of the year, come up a little short in the playoffs with a big upset over Dallas, but then they come up short the next week. They seem to be, and then you paid Jordan Love all this money, which, in my opinion, you paid him too quick. I mean, he's had part of a good season. And, we've talked about it on this show several times. When you pay one to, if somebody's in even if somebody's in their contract year, you're going to get a lot more out of them than you would somebody. I mean, on a second year or whatever, not their contract. They're out to prove that they want more money. Look at Joe Flacco with the Ravens. I mean, he's in his contract year. He goes on probably one of the best playoff performances in all the games he was in the playoffs that year. And he gets all this money, and Flacco goes to Crapo. I mean, he was never the same after he got that contract extension. But that's how it goes. It's not every player like that, but a lot of them. But Packers and the Eagles, I mean, a high scoring game. Looks like they had about 47,000 people there, which in Brazil. I mean, Brazil wants to see NFL football. Cool. Green Bay. The second quarter, they really was all offense. 30 points scored in the second quarter. Reed for the Packers seemed to be a big play. I don't know who's got them on their fantasy. Jaden Reed, 4 catches, 138 yards and a touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown. Josh Jacobs, a big pickup for the Packers. Didn't score a touchdown, 84 yards. But how about Saquon? How about Matthew, my co-host on the show, big Giants fan? Saquon leaves the Giants, goes to the Eagles, has over 100 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground. I think he also had one receiving touchdown. But it comes out to the end. They kick a field goal to take the lead. Well, no, it was 34-29, excuse me. They extend their lead so they don't have to worry about the field goal. Unfortunately for the Packers, the last drive, Love trying to get something going, trying to get a drive, get that game-winning touchdown. He is sacked. No, he wasn't sacked. He did pitch the ball off. But when he does that, his knee he goes in places it shouldn't go, and unfortunately he has a severe knee injury. At least it looked like very severe at the time, and I know all the Packer fans held their breath for that. But he goes out of the game, and newly acquired from the Titans, Malik Willis, has to come in the game, and it just doesn't work out. I mean, he didn't have time. He gets sacked at the end, and that was that. So the Eagles hold on to a 34-29 win. And coming out this morning, looks like Love has got an MCL sprain, could miss 3 to 4 weeks. So as a Packers general manager, what do you do here? Do you try to sign a free agent to fill in that time, like maybe a Ryan Tannehill who's sitting out there? Or do you go for a trade? Do you try to trade for another team's backup? I know some Steeler fans are like, yeah, trade them for some of their receivers or one of their receivers, trade Fields or trade Wilson for one of their receivers. I don't know what you do here. 4 weeks with Malik Willis, and you got to depend on your running game. You don't know what Willis is really not proven. You don't know what he's going to be capable of. I don't know. I don't know the answer here. It's going to be interesting for the Packers because they were a team on the rise, and to see an injury go down here to their best player and the leader of that offense, it's going to be rough 3 or 4 weeks at the most for Green Bay. Moving on, let's go before we get to college. Let's go through the schedule for today. So 1 o'clock games. Pittsburgh versus Atlanta. A lot of talk about Russell Wilson not being able to play, calf injury. He kind of re-aggravated his calf. He says he's going to play, but it's not his decision. It is Steelers trainers and Mike Tomlin. It's their decision. So a lot of rumors coming out. Justin Fields may get the start. We'll see about it. Atlanta, Kirk Cousins coming off his injury from last year, first time with Atlanta. With the uncertainty of who's playing quarterback, I'm going to give the edge to Atlanta. It's going to be a close game. Steelers defense will keep them in the game, but I just don't know about that quarterback situation. And our running game would have to really come out. Fields plays, he's going to have to do a lot of things with his legs to keep, and then make some key throws and not turn the ball over. That's his big issue is fumbling. So he's going to have to take care of the ball if he starts. And if Wilson's in there with a bad calf, I mean, do you really want to put him in there week 1 with a bad calf and then have something happen to him? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be probably right down to the last minute who gets the start. Minnesota and the Giants. Daniel Jones versus Sam Darnold. You'd have to be a Giants and a Vikings fan to watch this game. This is a toss-up here. I'll give it to the Giants. I'll give it to the Giants on this one. I mean, it's just like flipping a coin because both quarterbacks are struggling. I think Daniel Jones has done a little bit more in his career than Sam Darnold has more success in his career than Sam Darnold has. So I'll go with that. Jacksonville versus Miami. Battle of Florida. Tua versus Trevor. Who do I got here? I'm going Miami. I think Miami beats them by at least 10 points. New England and Cincinnati, Jamar Chase. You don't know if he's playing or not. I don't think that makes a difference here. New England is going to be a struggling team. Of course, Brissett beats out Drake May for the starting quarterback job. Joe Burrow is back. How healthy is he? We'll see. If he's healthy, then I think this is a cakewalk for Cincinnati, with or without Jamar Chase. Arizona versus Buffalo. Is the win? How close is the window to shut on Buffalo's Super Bowl chances? Because for the last 3 years, this has been one of the Super Bowl contenders. You've lost a lot. You've lost a lot of weapons on both sides of the ball. Diggs is gone. How is that wide receiver room going to be? Josh Allen, you can't have him running as much as you have been in the past. You got to have a running game. We'll see how that goes, but I think Buffalo gets the win over Kyler Murray in Arizona. They're going to have to show me something before I believe in them anytime. Indianapolis and Houston. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good game. A battle of two really good young quarterbacks. Richardson, we'll see how he is coming off his injury. I got to go Houston here. I think Houston gets the win. Even at Indy, I think Houston gets the win. And that's a big division matchup. Tennessee at Chicago. Everybody keeps talking about Chicago. It's going to be good this year. Caleb Williams. The defense is good. They picked up some weapons. That's a tough one. Will Levis, I don't know. I don't think Tennessee's got. I think Chicago might get the win here at home, so they might get the win. Carolina at New Orleans. Boy, Carolina. I can't pick you. I got to go New Orleans. With this one. Carolina, you're going to get better, but I just don't think it's right now. The Chargers and the Raiders. Harbaugh debut with the Chargers. I got the Raiders here. I think Minshew Mania gets Harbaugh. I just don't see. Some people are talking about the Chargers are a playoff team, and just because Harbaugh. But you've lost a lot of weapons. You lost two of your Keenan Allen's gone. You lost two. Mike Williams is gone. Two of your big time receivers are gone. Eckler's gone. I just don't see it. I mean, I think the Raiders get the win here. Denver and Seattle. Bo Nix gets a start against Geno. My buddy Kool-Aid Camden, Seattle Seahawks fan. This is a tough one. I'm going to go Seattle just because I don't know if Bo Nix, his inexperience, might do him in. Washington and Tampa. Jaden Daniels era starts in Washington. You know what? I'm gonna pick the upset here. I'm going Washington over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was a playoff team last year. Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna go Washington here. I may jinx them. All right, Dallas and Cleveland. You know I don't like Cleveland. Not the biggest Dallas fan either. Dak. L pick. Yeah, the Aiden is a Tampa Bay fan, but I gotta go against the grain sometimes, buddy. Gotta go against the grain. Yeah, I'm sure you'll let me know if they win. It's popped up here. Dallas and Cleveland at Cleveland. These are the 4 o'clock games now. With the Raiders game, it started 4 o'clock games. I'm going Dak and company to beat Cleveland. Deshaun and I just don't think Deshaun's got it. I mean, I think he was paid too much. That was paid too much. Yeah, I think Dallas gets the win here. Rams and the Lions, a playoff rematch from last year. Got to go Detroit. This is the 8:20 game, the Sunday night game. So I'm going Detroit on this. Detroit should be a Super Bowl contender. So we'll see how they handle the first year of being such a favorite to win. They're favored, especially now with Green Bay, missing Love for a few weeks. This is Detroit's chance to really widen the gap between them and Green Bay. So we'll see. I think Detroit gets that win. Then your Monday night game, the Jets and the 49ers. Now, the last Monday night game Aaron Rodgers played didn't work out too well for him. So maybe this one will be a little bit better for him and the Jets fans. But they're playing the 49ers. Brock Purdy and company, NFC champions. I don't think Aaron Rodgers can overcome that. I mean, your defense is pretty awesome. Aaron Rodgers he's coming off a injury. Plus, he is not a spring chicken anymore. So I got to go 49ers on that. I know some people say, oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes the magic has to run out. And this may be when the magic runs out for Aaron Rodgers. I know the Jets have a good defense. They have some weapons. But I just think the 49ers have too much for the Jets. So that's your first week of the NFL. Let's look at talk about a little bit of college football yesterday. Of course, some of my players are state fans, and you state fans out there, I feel for you. I was pulling for you last night. It didn't work out too well against Tennessee. State drops 51-10. Not a good game. State struggled a little bit last week with Western Carolina, which was first game. You got a new quarterback. You can understand the struggles there. But Tennessee is a good team. And State still, I think, a good team and could contend in the ACC. But last night was just not NC State's night. It was horrible. Got to talk about my Pirates. ECU Pirates starting off 2-0 for the first time since 2016. They get the 20-14 win over Old Dominion, overcoming four interceptions, and I know one was in the end it was in the end zone. Garcia has to cut down on the interceptions. We could have lost a key component of our running game with Bond last night. Goes down with an untouched knee injury, which is never good. So hopefully that maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, but it looked pretty bad. But ECU gets the 20-14 win. They have App State next week, who got walloped by Clemson last night. Was not cool for App State fans. So hopefully ECU can clean up the turnovers and go to 3-0 and get a win over App State. Some of the scores. What about Northern Illinois? Northern Illinois goes to Notre Dame, gets paid over $1 million to go play Notre Dame, and beats the number 5 Fighting Irish. I think it was 16-15. Notre Dame has a chance to win it with a field goal. It's blocked, kind of reminiscent of the App State, Michigan. This has to go up there. Michigan fans are, after they got throttled yesterday by Texas, who, by the way, I think is the real deal. Watch out for Texas this year. Michigan is just not as good as advertised. You give, of course, defending national champions, you give them a high ranking, but they are missing. New coach Harbaugh's not there anymore, but they lost a lot, and it shows. They struggled last week, and they got throttled 31-12 by Texas. Texas just looks really, really good. How about Alabama? What was it? With South Florida, had to outscore them like 28-3 in the fourth, because it was, I think, South Florida was up, I believe. Looking at one of my pet peeves there, and it's not his fault. I'll say it to this day, not his fault, but still, Colorado. This whole hype machine, because Deion Sanders is the coach, and nothing against Deion, but I can't stand it. You got a team there that has some talent, but nowhere near a top 25 team. And people are put, just because of the hype and because it's cool to say, oh, I'm picking Colorado. Just because of that, people want to get on this, say, oh, yeah, they're great. They're a national champ. Somebody actually put them after who was it? They beat North Dakota State or something like that last week and barely beat them. Somebody put them in their top 10. And I'm like, nothing against North Dakota State. They're a good team, but what? They get handed to yesterday by Nebraska. I know one time it was they were shutting them out. 28-10 win. Looking at it, Shedeur Sanders gets sacked 5 times, and he was running for his life pretty much the whole night. Offensive line is not good for Colorado, and they have no discipline. No discipline. Get a guy ejected for targeting, personal foul, roughing the passer, 2 pass interference flags. Run game was not there. So, all of you guys that talked last week about how great this team was, I want to hear what you have to say now. It was 28-0 at halftime. Of course, y'all will say, well, they outscored them 10-0 in the second half. There will be some kind of swerve put on this for sure. And it's nothing against that team or anybody, but the media, you media guys that put these guys over so much just because Deion's a coach. Give me a freaking break, dude. Gosh, this is not a national championship contended team. I'm sorry. Not a national championship contender team. Looking at some of the other scores, Georgia Tech gets beat by Syracuse. I was kind of surprised at that, 31-28. Penn State just gets by Bowling Green. Didn't Penn State have a close game last week with somebody? Miami, Florida, all over Florida A&M, 56-9. Alabama, like I said, 42-16 over South Florida, which is a big fourth quarter for Alabama. Kansas loses to Illinois. Ole Miss all over Middle Tennessee, 52-3. Iowa loses to Iowa State. Oregon struggling again. Had to go to overtime. No, they didn't go to overtime. They had to have a last-second field goal to beat Boise State. Boise State had to lead 34-27. Clemson all over App State 66-20 after getting throttled the week before by Georgia. USC. Does USC have a defense now to go with their offense? USC beat LSU the first week and held them pretty much in check, and then shuts out Utah State 48-0. Watch out for that. Of course, Georgia all over Tennessee Tech 48-3. Nothing unexpected there. So I don't know if Georgia the real deal again this year. I don't know yet. I mean, they sure did beat up on Clemson, and of course Tennessee Tech. Nothing against you Tennessee Tech people, but we knew that was going to be the issue there. But looks like something changed here. Looking at some of the headlines from the NFL right now. Of course, we talked about. I got a notification going in for something. This could be interesting. Some of my folks are Snapchatting pictures. They gotta show support. I appreciate it, Aiden, that you're showing support and trying to get the guys up. But looking at some of the headlines right here. Belichick looks like he wants to coach again in 2025, despite media opportunities. I don't know what game he's doing or where he's working. Let me see where he's working at. He'll be a regular on the Manning Cast every Monday night and appear on Pat McAfee show once a week. He's also going to have a football show on YouTube. This should be interesting here. Yeah, he may want to go back to coaching after that. Well, you're right. But yeah, Roger Goodell saying he wants 16 NFL international games per year. You better go check the freaking field conditions before you go down there. Of course, Russell Wilson uncertain to play. Chiefs Ravens most watched NFL opener ever. Guys, that's going to happen every year. Every year, I think, as big as the NFL is getting, unless they just go streaming with these games, and then you might have a drop off. The season opener every year is going to get bigger and bigger. I mean, people want it so bad that want to see football so bad they have football hangover. Okay, Cole Taylor. He's a State fan. The most competition ECU played is Liberty, so he don't want to hear it because he's a State fan. I said something about yesterday. I said I don't think State can beat Tennessee. We haven't played Liberty. We're going to play Liberty, but I can't help that y'all don't want to play us anymore. Sorry, Abe. I'm sorry, Cole. Excuse me, Abe. Don't get your feathers ruffled up because y'all got your tails kicked. You can't win them all. The Wolfpack just didn't have it last night for Tennessee. I hope you're watching, Cole. All I've got to say, Cole, about the NC State loss last night is womp, womp. And he'll know what I mean by that. Jamar Chase, game time decision on the contract talks. I don't know. I don't know what you got a chance now to be a Super Bowl contender. And I know you want to get paid. It's your job. But you gotta get out there, man. There's only, and I know the first of the season isn't that big of a deal, but come on, guys. Get it together. So fantasy teams, we've got our final score fantasy. We got 2 final score fantasy leagues this year. We had a good turnout for that, and we've got our on the fly fantasy league as well. So 3 fantasy leagues that I'm looking at right now. Of course, Lamar was against. I haven't even looked since Friday night to see. So right now, actually, I'm down 30-4 in one league in the final score second league. First league, I'm winning 27-9. And in On the Fly League, I'm losing 30-18. I'm projected to win none of those games. So should be a great banner week for me in fantasy football, it looks like, but you never know. Anyway, I just want to come on, guys, real quick. And like I said, hopefully me and Eric and Matthew can get back down to the real deal before too much longer. With football, coaching football, and dealing with some of these guys. Womp womp. It's a lot. No, it's a lot of fun, guys. I have a ball with these guys, and they're a great group of guys. Anyway, you guys enjoy opening Sunday of the NFL. Sit back, cook, do whatever you do on that. I'm gonna sit back and have as many games on as I can. I'll have my laptop and my TV going. But guys, enjoy this opening Sunday and have a great week. And hopefully, maybe we'll see you tonight. I'm thinking about going live tonight with the Sunday night game. But hopefully we'll see you tonight. And have a great Sunday, guys. That's it. We'll see you next time on the Final Score.